right? So let us see how will be the structure of CVs. Usually CV will be having it, as I told you, have multiple pages, so you have multiple different sections to cover, right? In your CV, first thing, CV heading. In heading, you should have your personal contact detail information like your name or your mail ID or your contact info or a LinkedIn profile. These kind of information can be kept in your CV heading. Then comes your personal statement, or you can call it as a summary or an objective. Actually, like why you want to apply for this role, why the HR wants to select your particular resume for this role, right? This is like justifying yourself. You can have a personal statement in your CV, then it can be followed by your educational qualification. Let us talk about the educational qualification all in the later upcoming slides, because I don't want to explain more in the CV. Yeah. Then come your research interest. If you have published any papers or if you are interested in any kind of particular topic in your research, there you can go with research, right? Then comes your awards and funding. If you got any awards like scholarship for your research or scholarship for your papers or projects, you can list out awards and fundings. And if you particularly have any teaching experience, like you're being a TA, that is teaching assistant for any of this job role, you can mention that. And comes conference and presentation. If you have published any papers in your conference or presented some presentations in any of the business meets or something like that, you can list out there. Then you have a professional membership. For example, if you are a member of IEEE Society or a member of any other society, you can list it over there. Then comes research and technical skills, right? If you are much more oriented over technical skills, you can mention over technical skills over there. For example, in case of MCA students, I hear that few MCA students are up here, right? So this session is completely for MBA students, right? MBA resume building. That is what I've been researched for. If you are an MCA student and if you want to list out your technical skills, then you have to particularly focus on this research and technical skills session, right? And if you have any other additional qualification, you can mention over there. And last but not the least, references. When it comes to a teaching role or a jobbing role, you should have a certain set of references. That is, references are nothing but people who can refer you to the particular job role or description. You can mention this, right? So these are the structure of the CV. These are the sections that you have to mention in your CV that you can, and you can always keep one or two sections based upon the job description on the role, right? And I'm again repeating it. This session is completely for MBA students, right? In case if there is any MCA students out here, you can just go through what is the difference between your sections and the MBA student sections, and you can just learn it from. Okay. So as I told you, I have given you an example of CV over here. CVs are generally longer and more detailed, and it has been under multiple purpose. As you can see, the CV displayed over here has 2 pages and invoked so many sections in it. Like we have research interest, education, publications, conferences, teaching experience, work experience, certificate, any volunteer experience people have done, or any general skills and their language, right? As you may see, CVs are a detailed explanation or a detailed document which have every detail about yourself in a very explainable or detailed way, right? So any queries on what CV is all about? Okay, we can raise your hands. Okay, here comes the major part, right? So as I told, CV is most basically submitted for teaching and research oriented jobs, right? Similarly, as an MBA student, you will be submitting your resume, right? Where you have to form your resume in a single page statement. So I would suggest that every participant in this meeting to mute yourself during the session. If you have any queries, you can raise your hand, then you can unmute, right? So here are the sessions that you want to add into your resume, right? First, let me show you a sample of your resume, how it's gonna look exactly like. You able to see this? As your resume as an MBA student is going to be look like this. A single page document, right? Which consists of a particularly few sections, or if you want to have some modern look over your resume, you can make it utilize it like this. In some cases, the companies will be demanding you to include your profile pics. So in that cases, your resume may look like this, right? So either it can look like this, or if you want to have some design in work, can make it look like that. Or most basically, what I would suggest for a fresher is to make your resume look plain and simple. right? The appearance of your resume is the first key. It is in a survey, at least 60% of the resumes get rejected because of the messy look or an unorganized contents, or if the contents is not organized and it look ugly or messy, most probably there is 60% of the chance that your HR might reject your resume, right? As a fresher, I would suggest you guys to make a resume a simple, plain document, right? So that we should not leave any rooms for the mistakes, right? So as an MBA resume, you should have these kind of contents or sections into your documents. You can see, first thing, you should have your contact information, right? If you are not providing your contact information properly, then even if you are capable of being getting interviewed in that interview, you will not be called for an interview or selected for the job, right? So contact information is very, very important, right? The second thing is summary or objective. Why you want to be selected for the particular role? What kind of qualities you possess for that particular role? You should be able to summarize all these things in the summary and the objective section, right? Third is education, right? Most of the people does this mistake. Like, just I have done MBA from this university and my CGPA is this. You think the HR exactly want those data? No. Education section should consist of too many other data that the HR is expecting for, right? So we'll see clearly in the later section what the education section should be filled up with, right? The next, it can be skills or a talents. Most probably, this skills can be optional for management students, right? And here comes the next session, work experience, right? I would strongly suggest the person who have unmuted the mic to unmute, so it is really disturbing.
Krishna ma'am, I would say that please mute every participant here except the host. That is better.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would repeat again. Oh, sorry. So let's start with the sections. First, contact section should have all your contact information, right? Next, you should give them detailed objective of why you want to be selected for the particular role. Then education qualification, like what you are undergoing, what kind of education you're undergoing, and what are the skills you want to possess under this education, what are the responsibility you're handling. All these things you can mention under this educational section, right? The skill or talent sections can be an optional one, right? If the HR has been requested for skills in the job description, then you can mention the skill section. Or if they have not mentioned, you can totally skip the section, right? But work experience is definitely the very most important section in your resume. If you're not going to have any work experience or an internship to be done for, definitely you're not going to get selected for a job, right? So make sure this work experience section should be very much clear, right? Then you can follow your section by either achievements or extracurricular activities. If you have any achievements to go further, and if you have any achievements to be done in further things, make sure you point out this, because if you have not done any achievements or extracurricular activities, your resume looks blank. Since you guys are applying for a fresher role, you won't be having much of work experience, hardly 1 or 2 internship you must have done it, right? So you should cover up all these negative drawbacks with achievements and extracurricular activities. So this is the overall structure of an MBA resume. We'll just see in depth what the sections look like. Like as I told, I would suggest your resume to be look like plain as simple and plain, right? First here you can include your contact information, then followed by your education session, technical skills, experience, and additional information. I would strongly suggest you to follow this order of the session, right? For a fresher, this order should be strictly followed. First, contact information should always be at the top, followed by your education section, technical skills, experience, and any other additional information you want, you can list out there, right? Okay. So there can be, as I told, you can skip the skills or you can add the skills. But if you're going to add the skills into your structure of your resume, right, your structure is going to look like this: header and contact information, followed by your career objective or a summary, education, work experience. In under your work experience, you should have job title, company name, or date of employment, or how long you have been worked on, for example, the duration of your employment, or the summary of your roles and responsibilities. We'll get these topics covered in the upcoming slides. So I'll just keep on to the sections. Either you can mention your work experience, then your skill sections, or you can get your skill section first, then you can go with the work experience. Other than this change, I would strongly suggest you to follow this structure. Right? If you're going to invoke skills additionally into the resume, you can follow this. Right? So this can be your structure of your resume. Right? So here afterwards, I'll be covering up the topics, what the content should be there in each and every section. Right? It may be a minute detail, but make sure these minute changes have a huge impact in your career. Right? So don't miss it out. Starting with the header or a contact information section. Right? So most probably people who are starting their career as a fresher, right, will not be having any job role, right? So I would strongly suggest you guys, if you are not having any previous experiences, right, skip this, right? First, write your full name properly. First name, then your last name, right? I would suggest to skip the initials, right? Always skip your initial, write your full name, first name, then your last name, right? If the HR have requested you for a photograph, add it, or else completely avoid. Right? In case of the demand, add the profile picture or a decent picture of, right? And that profile picture should be much clear, right? Don't add a picture of you being in a picnic or some random picture of which doesn't have clear pixels, right? Take a professional photographer, right? And take a professional picture and add into it, right? I would strongly suggest the background should be either white or a blue or a gray color, right? Other than this, you need to have any bright colors, right? Coming to write your full name, job and professional description. If you have any previous employment before joining MBA, you can mention it or else completely skip it for the fresher resume, right? Give your contact number clearly, right? If you are applying for abroad companies or so, right? Kindly mention the Indian code +91. If you're not mentioning it, you're not gonna get a call, right? The very important content next is email address. If you're messing around with your email address, you're not gonna have any reply from your HR, because that is the only way of communication that you have been giving with, which stays between you and your HR, right? So make sure you write your email address clearly, pitch perfect, right? And coming to your location, don't write your full address like 112/7, this cross street. No, just mention your city and your country. If you're applying for Indian-based companies, just in companies which is located in India, just mention your city, Bangalore, where you reside. Right? People coming from different part of the states, maybe some may be coming from Mumbai, or some may be coming from Maharashtra, right? In that case, I would strongly suggest you guys to put up where your college is being located or where your university is being located, right? So always keep Bangalore location as your location. Clear? Okay. So this is all about the contact sections. Make sure these details should be clear in your resume, right? Coming back to your summary or an objective section. If I was about to ask you to write a summary about yourself, definitely most of the people's answer will be like this: an MBA graduate seeking employment in a certain field. These are the skills I have. You think this is what an HR will be able to do with? When I've been training some of the candidates for the resume building sessions, most of the candidates have been sticking with certain contents like this. This is not what the HR is expecting. They are expecting some objectives which and where you can prove yourself. that you are suitable for the particular role, right? So a correct form of a summary or a right form of summary would be like this. I'm an MBA fresher, stating that you are a fresher, you are creative and are good at problem solving, right? Why just mention this problem solving as a keyword. I will tell you later why these words are important. Trying to increase organization by invoking innovation, teamwork, and the ability to take criticism. You should mention your negativity or your negative habit, and you should always turn it into a positive statement, right? You should always state, you should always convey your disadvantage as your advantage, right? So the statement can have the keywords of innovation is there, teamwork is there, and you have an ability to take criticism. As an HR, taking criticism is the day-to-day task that they want to deal with. So you are possessing a very good quality for that. Plus, you are having some certain technical skills to deal with, right? So this can be the right form of a summary. A right form of a summary should have a positive content about yourself, a certain keywords that is being decided in a job description, right? So if you are applying for a role of HR, this essay or a summary or an objective is a perfect fit, right? So always have this 3-point rule. First, mention who you are. First line is for that. Second line is for what you can provide for the team or what you can provide for the company or what are the capabilities that you possess. Third, always mention a technical skill. As an MBA student, you should not think that, okay, I'm an MBA student, I'm going to be in the management, I don't want to have any technical skills. Completely wrong, right? As a management student, you are in charge for giving and presentation to a client. You are in charge for dealing your technical team. You are in charge for handling the workflow of a project. If you're going to be a project manager, you should know what is going through in the project. If you're not knowing what is going in the project, it's just simply you're going to deal and you're imagining that without any technical skills, I can handle a team. It's not going to happen, right? As an MBA student, you need a strong technical skills. Like you have to work on data analytics to present such good presentation to your client. If you don't know any technical skills or if you don't know what is going to happen in your team, then you are not going to control your team or lead your team to success, right? So always possess some technical skills. So before going to the next topic, I would strongly suggest, Augustine, can you just post a more link? I think the meeting is going to end in a couple of minutes. So you can post the next link in the same Zoom link, or you can just share it in WhatsApp so that the people can join. Okay. So yeah, coming back to the summary and objectives, summaries and objectives are very, very important, right? Don't mess around with these section, because if you are sure that your summary and your session has been correct and adaptable for that resume or a job role, then you go for it, or else totally skip, right? Since you guys are a fresher, you need some contents to fill up for your resume, right? So I would strongly suggest make a good summary for each and every job role, right? You're going to be applying for. Always refer the roles and responsibilities or the description given by the HR, right? Based upon that roles and responsibilities, you can just create the object very easily. Okay. So, okay. Next, followed by the next section, we have covered the content information section. There is contact information section. Second one is objectives has been covered, right? Followed by the next section is education section. Usually what people will do is education from certain university, from the year and the date and their certain CGPAs. Done. This can be given by anyone. So what details or what data can make your resume stand out of other things, right? So it is to mention these three things under your education qualification. One is any kind of leaderships or activities that you have taken. which is relevant to the industry, not relevant. You should not mention that I've been the culture organization, right? Or I've been some certain responsibilities that doesn't match with the job description. Always mention these leaderships and activities which is relevant to the industry, right? First thing. Second thing is your relevant coursework. For example, if you possess any additional relevant courseworks, for example, data warehousing with or data visualization with Python, will serve as an extra key feature for you, right? So certainly any relevant skills or any relevant experience or any relevant courses you have taken or any relevant particular certain projects that you have done, you can mention. Here I have mentioned machine learning or optimization method or an applied probability or analytics labs. These may sound what these subjects are dealing with MBA. Let me tell you, these skills makes you stand out of the crowd. If you possess at least any two of these skills, this will make you a better team player, a better technical person, and this will expose your quality to, or it will expose your ability to learn new things out of your comfort zone, right? So always make sure you're going to add some relevant courseworks, labs, and projects according to the job description, right? Followed by if you got any honors or scholarships or awards during that time, you can mention that in that session, right? For example, if you're during your MBA time, if you got any award for any of your extracurricular activities or if you have organized any events and you got a particular award for that, you can mention that in your honors, awards, and scholarships section. If you got a scholarship for your MBA, that also you can mention, right? So I will give you some certain examples to how an educational section must look like, right? So this is how it should be, right? Make sure first you are going to write your institution name, right? Here, in case if you are an Aakash Institute of Management, give your institution name followed by the location where, the location of your institution, right? Then what you are a candidate for MBE, right? Under a specific major, if you are in operations, if your sub major is operation, mention operations. If you are able to take marketing, mention marketing. Or if you are going to take HR, mention HR, right? Mention your subcategory properly. And always make sure in education qualification, you should never involve months. It should always be in year format, right? So if you have started in 2023, just make sure 2023 to present. It means that still you are a student, right? So what are the things to be possessed for? First, mention the institution name, followed by the location. Then you have to mention that particular sub branch or category, whatever you have been taken for. Then the year of the study. Under that, I told you, I gave you three directions. First, any responsibilities you hold, that is leadership or activity. Can you see? If you have been an in charge for handling a career fair or something like that, you just look at the statement. Director of the analytics career fair. It is detailedly describing you that you are a director and you organize a fair for it, right? And numbers and stats always stand out, right? You should not just give a blame sentences because that may not look like a proper statement or it doesn't prove that you handled it, but statistics states that. And even inviting 60 companies, you have invited 60 companies and over 200 students, right? For that particular event, as a director, what you have did, first you have mentioned your role, right? What you have done, you have invited 60 companies and 200 students. Plus, what you have done in that, what is your duty? You have created a particular timeline. It means you are in charge for the entire event from the start to end, right? And you have supported marketing and you have done the recruitments for the team. You have gathered your team members, you have done the scrutiny, and you have picked some certain people to work under this event. It possesses your HR capability, like the capability of taking out a people who has this I'm sorry. Does anyone have any queries?
I think you need to mute everybody.
Okay. So coming back, so first you have described your title, then what you have done it, then according to your timeline and what you have done, right? You have taken out particular set of people, from a group of people, you have selected few people who can do that particular job role, and you have segregated them according to marketing and what are the event management, and you have maintained event website. It shows your technical skills, right? In a single line, I have given you, you are a very good tech handler, you are very good at team worker, plus you are very good decision maker, plus you have capabilities of dealing with 60 companies at a particular time and a 200 people. The single line alone can give you a job of an HR, right? This is a difference between a normal resume and a detailed resume, right? You should not just give a simple kind of blank statements that we use for example, a blame statement can be like this. I have handled some analytic career fair in my college at this year. People often make this mistake. Avoid making it. Give a detailed statement. That detailed statement should not extend in a paragraph, particularly a single line statement, but it should always have a particular set of keywords that expose your skills and talents, right? First thing is done, leadership and your qualification. Second thing, your relevant courseworks. What are the relevant courseworks you have done? Machine learning, optimization methods, analytics of the operation, management, applied probabilities. These things can pinpoint that you have an exceptional high quality of dealing with both tech and the management, right? And the third thing is your projects. If you're not done any projects, then how will you expose your skills? What should be there? For most of the time, whatever you keep in your resume is going to be a question, right? Make sure you are prepared for all the contents, and whatever you have mentioned in your resume, if you have mentioned something else from some other's resume, then you won't be able to answer, right? Whatever project you have done, keep it. If you have not done any project, remove it off. But I would strongly suggest, as you guys are from the first year still, to increase your projects, right? If you're not increasing your project, your chance of getting shortlisted for the interview would be really less, right? You can mention your projects over there. So this is how an educational section should be looking like. I have a detailed explanation of what I am, where I have studied from, what is the year, right? Which section I am from, is there is any qualification or roles and responsibility I possess, relevant courseworks and projects. Everything is given clearly here, right? So this is how an educational section be looking like. Clear? So I would strongly suggest you guys to skip your PUs and your high school qualification out, because that is not going to give you a detail. It will make your resume look big and it will be converted into a CV. The point of having a resume is to make it short and clear, right? This is how an educational section should be looking like, right? As far as the technical skills, I would strongly suggest you guys to learn SPSS, Julia, SQL optional, R, Python, and MATLAB, right? These kind of technical skills you can give, for example, which can be relevant and which can be used in your management, either in operations or marketing or your HR or other technical roles, right? Give your technical skills relevant here. If you are mentioning C and C++, these languages doesn't make any sense. Whereas in R and Python will help you to do the data visualization part. So make sure whatever you're going to make and state here should be relevant to your described job role. Clear? Okay. Moving back to the next section, keywords. If you take up the screening process of the resume before 2017, 10 HRs will be there in the company to deal with the application process alone. The era has changed. Nowadays, the job application has been handled online, like you either using Intentiella or a Glassdoor or a Nakuri, or they have a specific job portals, right? For a particular job role, thousands of applications will be submitted. right? You think an individual HR will be able to screen these thousands of applications by looking into each and everyone's resume? No. Here jumps the keyword, right? They use ATS, that is applicant tracking system. For example, consider thousands application has been listed out, but my job description is someone who knows data visualization should be my shortlisted candidate. I can easily make an AI algorithm or an AI system to screen the thousand applications. For example, if they have mentioned some data visualization tools in your resume, screen that application and give me. I'm damn sure hardly 20 people will be having the job description or the job qualification as a data analyst, or they will be mentioning some certain tools or some skills related to data analyzation will be there. So what this AI will be doing is, if you don't have the keywords of this particular job description in your resume, it will be automatically rejected. And those particular resumes, that is first 20 resumes who have this data analytical skills being listed out in their job role, will be automatically listed out with the HR. And it's easy for an HR to go through over 20 applications rather than going to thousands of applications, right? So keywords are very, very important, right? Now come back to this slide. As I told, you must have a keyword called as problem solving, which is a keyword for an HR, that is problem solving. Or innovation, teamwork. If the description processed for an HR is going to deal with the teamwork, then it can be the teamwork, right? If you have an ability to take criticism, for example, HR may also do that, right? Or if they want the person who actually knows the Photoshop or knows some other technical skills, they can list it out there and they can easily sort things out, right? Keywords are very, very important, right? As an MBA students, your keywords or skills can be classified into two skills, right? Either one is hard skills, other thing is soft skills. Hard skills are the technical skills that you possess. Soft skills are the ability that you possess. For example, time management, multitasking, or stress management. These are the keywords that can come under soft skills. And in case of hard skills, you can mention WordPress or a designing or an algorithm or a Photoshop. These kind of things can be mentioned it as an hard skills, right? So make sure according to your job description, you mention your particular job role or job description. Clear? Okay. So coming back to the skills that you want to possess, right? It depends upon separate industries, like how we have different branches like marketing, operations, and HR and MB, right? So what is the major aspects in making a resume is communication. If you are not communicating yourself properly, then you are not making your qualification to be clear over there, right? So this communication of resume for each and every industry is different, right? In case of management, you can classify your market into three separate markets. That is, one is operations and supply chain, one more is consulting, and one is startup, right? So these are some of the subcategories most of these MBA freshers are hired for, right? Coming in operations, right? You should always possess strong problem solving, right? These are the keywords that need to be there in your resume if you are applying for operations and supply chain, right? If you're applying for consultancy job, then you have to process these certain set of keywords in your resume, or these certain qualifications or the sort of abilities you should have, right? In case of startups, no, you have to be an all-rounder. You have to be a many caps, right? You have to lead the marketing team. You have to look over the client presentation. You have to take up the ordering of raw materials, everything to be done by a startups. So if you're going to apply for startups, make sure that you know everything. In case of some MMCs, if you are selected for operations, you will be just focusing on the operations. You won't be giving a client presentation to the client, right? So make sure if you're applying for operations, just take out a particular skills over there, right? If you're applying for consultancy, these are some of the particular skills that you want to process. If you're applying for startups, you have to be an all-round. Clear with this? Right? So make sure before going to apply for any companies, I have told you about 2-3 aspects. RRP, research about the company, right? Take the job description, roles and responsibilities of the job description, then prepare your resume accordingly, right? So if you are following this protocol, this should not be a problem, right? So make sure you know where you are applying for. You make sure the industry that you have been looking for or the industry you've been applying for. According to that, prepare your resume. Okay. So coming back, this is all about the keywords that you want to add into your education or qualification experience. Here comes a major part, that is experience. If you are not having an experienced, if you're not an experienced candidate, or if you don't have any hands-on experience on dealing with people or taking an internship, definitely in this era, you're not gonna selected for any of this job. Right? I would strongly suggest you guys to take up internships as soon as possible. Right? There are both offline or remote internships where you need to visit them on their weekends. Right? If you have an experience, that is internship experiences over, you have 70% higher chance of getting placed into a company. 70 is not a small number, right? So I would suggest you guys to take up an experience of an internship. It can be anywhere. You can either take in your college also as a particular event arrangement, or you can also do event management for certain events in your college or university, right? It can be anything, but gain some experience, right? Most of the people must have been done in your bachelor's, then move back to MBA, right? I hope in your bachelor's you must have done some of this internship over, whatever it may be, right? But make sure you write the contents relevant to the job description that is being asked for. Even though you must have done some technical internships, right? Try to convert those technical internships into a particular field that you have been applying for. We'll see further in later stage, but I'll let you know some of the rules, because most of the times the questions in the interview will be arised from your resume, right? And that specific section in the resume will serve as a question that is nothing but an experience, right? Every time, even if there is a 10 question out of your interviews, 9 questions, almost 8 to 9 questions will be based upon your experience and the description that you gave in your experience, right? In experience, you should always have first your title, right? Title or the name of the company that you worked for, right? For example, if it is an Infosys, in general, can mention the employer name who have given you an internship, followed by city or a state. If you have done some abroad internships, you can mention. Unless and until if it is not abroad, skip the country, right? If you're done in Bangalore, mention it in Bangalore. If you're done in Hyderabad, mention it as Hyderabad. If you're done in Delhi, just mention it as Delhi, right? Then followed with the title of the position. For example, if you are marketing intern, mention that marketing intern, right? Followed by the years. Skip months. You should never ever mention months here, unless and until it is asked for, right? In the job description, if they have mentioned that it should have some certain criteria, or just mention the month of experiences you have or the timeline of experiences they have. Until and unless they have not mentioned, skip it, right? Under this experience, what you can do actually, right? First, always carry with the bulletin points. Don't write paragraphs under it, right? And that bulletin point should not extend more than 1 point, right? And another key role is you should always have this circular bulletins, right? Always have circle bulletins in your resume. Other than circle bulletins, don't have any other. shapes. Maybe an arrow or whatever, arrow or a tick mark. It is highly unprofessional, right? Take it as a circular bulletin so that your resume may look clean and neat, which attracts the HR or whoever the person is going to look at your resume, right? Followed by, you can mention 2 to 3 bulletin points, not more than that. Or if you have done many, for example, some may have done only one internship. In that case, if you want to get on the data, you can mention, right? In that case, take 2 to 4 bulletin points, right? In your accomplishment, avoid using first person or user pronouns. I, me, we did it. No. What you have did it. Always mention in a verbal term, right? And the other thing is, it is necessary for you to take stats in. Numbers always speaks. Just imagine you're saying, I have trained few people. Does it make any impact? Or else, just alternate a point. Have trained more than 200 people. 200 make a greater impact, right? Always go with stats. If you have reduced some program time or what, if for example, the event is going to be happened in certain time, I have handled 150 hours event. Mention that 150 hours, right? If you have underwent a training session, or if you underwent a certain period of training over, mention the particular months. Numbers always speak, right? And it has numbers plus technology gives a major advantage in your resume. You should always add some technological aspects into that, right? And yeah, 1 or 2 lines is must avoid, and you should always avoid periods in your resume. Clear? So let us see some few examples in your resume. I have made few examples in resume, not one, so that you could have a clear understanding of how a resume should look like. Before going into that statement, making a statement, how to make a statement is not an easy task, right? So there are some particular protocols to follow while making the statement, right? So your single statement should invoke 3, that is challenge, action, and result, right? What is the problem statement that has been given to you? What is the action you have taken upon that? And how many percentage of results you have done it? Or who have get the most of the benefits from yours, right? So make sure you're going to change car. You can mention it as RAC or CAR, right? Either you are going to check with challenge, action, and result, or you can mention the result, action, and challenge. I would always suggest you to go with car. That is, what is the challenge has been given to you? What is the action you have taken? How many results you have been obtained for, right? Keep in mind, as I told, numbers and technological stacks always stand up. If you're mentioning numbers and technology in your resume, then you are going to be the one who are going to be shortlisted for, right? So, okay, let's look at what kind of statement should not be written and how it can be improved. As you can see, so basically, if a beginner is going to write a statement for an accomplishment or a statement for the work done under internship, it would be like this. Worked in sales department using data to support marketing efforts and decision making. Trust me, this is not the sentence I have created for. This is a sentence that is being made by a candidate while preparing a resume and which got him rejected from the interview, right? How we can do it? Improve customer reach. It means results, RAC. This is in RAC format. First, you have given the results, right? Improve customer reach and product placement by developing predictive models in collaborating with marketing managers. It means that results is there, action is there, right? Who are the persons who you collaborated with? It is clear here. Problem statement is given. What the action has been taken is given. What is the results has been given. In most cases, let's take the other example. Responsible for updating inventory management. This can also be your problem statement if you have seen. So you are responsible for updating inventory database, right? It can be written in other format by including technical and number stacks in it. C. Optimize inventory management by redesigning database. right? Optimized inventory management is the result and action being taken. What you have done? You have redesigned the entire database, which reduce exchange stock by 50%. It means you are going to give them a proof, right? You're going to give them a proof for the work you have done. It can also be written as optimized inventory management by redesigning database, 15 production reduction of exchange stocks, right? Always have numbers, results, and action, right? So I'll give you a few examples. For example, if in your undergrad, right, in your bachelor's, if you have done any researches or you would have done some projects, right? How we can mention that? You can mention the institution name that you've been worked on, location, followed by undergrad. Usually undergrad results, researchers won't be, projects won't be going not more than a month. In that case, you can mention the month, June to October, right? What you have done, right? Conducted experimental predictions, market with human and artificial intelligence. Technological stack is there, and what you have done to predict future events. Who are the benefactors, right? As I told, how many experiment has been done, numbers and everything has been given over. And I will give you another example. If you're working under some certain corporation, you can mention the corporation name, your location, or in case of corporations, the internship time, maybe it can be 1 month or 6 months. If it is less than 6 months, I won't suggest you guys to make out in the resume. So just mention the year. In 2023, you have done an internship, right? As a part-time consultant. As a part-time consultant, what you have done? Optimized and redesigned the system to reduce manufacturing costs. You have reduced the manufacturing cost. What is the advantage that I have given to the company? By 40% and the system size by 20%, right? These are the sentence which make you prove that you are a capable person and you can be beneficial for the company if you've been hired, right? You should show the company that you can reduce their workload, or you will be able to handle multiple tasks, or you will be able to reduce their cost, right? When you're dealing with people or when you're dealing with stats, right? These are the numbers which give you a positive opinion on the HR. I will make the HR to shortlist your profile much more quicker, right? Or you can also have some simple, if you don't have any, if you don't find any numberings can be done, you can mention analyze the structural component and identification critical design parameter. As I told you, can see this. Analyze, you have done the analysis. Critical design parameters, you will be able to explain. Redesigning, optimizing the component. These are some of the particular keywords that you can mention, right? So apart from the experience, educational experiences, what you can do? Here comes an additional information system, right? Where you can invoke your professional organization if you got any certificate, for example, ASIL certification you got, or if you have attended any summit or any business event where you presented your paper, or any recognition you got, you can do it. Or if you have published any papers or a journal contribution, you can mention. Or if your work has been authorized, for example, best research paper award or the best event manager title is being given. These things also you can just mention in the work outline, right? So coming back, I will show you some of the example resume that you can look for. Now, if you look into the resume, I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay. Can you see the content information section, right? So in the contact, name is being given. Who are you? An MBA candidate. You're applying for a job. You don't have any job description. So you just mention MBA candidate. Your email ID is given clearly, phone number, the place, and your LinkedIn ID, right? Followed by your little bit of summary or your objective. If you read the summary, you will be knowing. See, if you are looking for a team coordinator, I am. A customer relation, I can manage customer relation. I can manage a project leadership. I will be able to handle a project, right? With a strong background in business administration, right? And I can handle a leadership role. All these keywords have been built in here. So this is a very good summary for an ATC2 student, right? Coming back to your work experience, right? They have mentioned work experience over here first, right? See, Work experience followed by the company name that you've been taken for, your position, your year, and the place. If you look into the statements, right, you can find numbering, stats, and keywords and technical words. See, can you see? I've been updating, decreasing out of stock ingredients for 48%. It means that I have maintained the work properly with certain amount, right? And I have increased the sales 17%, which is a very good thing, right? And you can also achieve the employee of the month award 3 times. It means you are capable of doing the work much better than anyone else, right? And all this technical stacks has been involved here. All 3 rules are covered. Okay. If you have any project experience, you can also mention the project experience which is relevant to your job profile, or else skip it. Right? Here they have done some project related to their business administration. For example, in case if you have any projects to take over in your MBA, you can clearly mention those projects over here. For example, if you have a competition where you need to obtain certain sales rate while doing online retail market or something like that, right? If any competition has been handled by the institution, it can be a very good advantage for the students to mention their project description in their resume, right? Coming back to education qualification, this person doesn't have any of the description. That is completely all right, but I would strongly suggest mention it, right? And the skills. Clear? This can be a format. This can also be the format, right? If you see, the name is clear. What role, if you have any previous experience, for some people must have gone through practical experience, or you may have 2 to 3 years of experience in the field, then you have come back to MBA. In that cases, you can directly mention your past role or whatever the role you have been applying for, detailedly explain. Plus information, skills has been given, summary, experience under this key terms and key achievements, education, right? Projects, and any additional extracurricular activities, right? Or else you can take up like this. If the HR or the job description is asking for a photo, add a pic, or else don't do it, right? So if these 3 resumes are most probably for people who have some little bit of experience in projects, right? So you can just go over and explain your projects or work experiences. But if you don't have any experience, you are a fresher, I would strongly suggest you to go over a template like this, right? Give your contact information properly, followed by education qualification and the 3 criteria under your education qualification with keywords. Keywords play a major role, right? How to compare a keyword, for example, how to get a keywords. So here I've been looking into a position called as human research intern posted in LinkedIn, right? If I want to get some keywords for my resume, I can just go through the job role, right? So the job role is located in Bangalore. If you are going to mention your native city as Bangalore, then the probability of getting selected for this role is 20% high, right? Then you want to manage the HR should possess some skills like HR policies you should know. So you can, if you, for example, if you have done some project and you can, you have analyzed some HR policies, or you will be able to do some management, right? And you should be excellent in written and verbal skills, right? In this case, you can mention that if you have written some papers, or if you have written some blogs, if you are maintaining some articles online, you can do equally mention that. Time management, it can be a keyword. Problem solving, a keyword is being found. Business administration, keyword is being found. Human resource or related fields, right? If these are the keywords from this qualification, let me tell you how many keywords I can find. HR policies, personal management, HR management, written and verbal communication skills, organization and time management skills, problem solving, social service if you have any, if you have mentioned in your projects, or if you have any NGO works. If you mention these keywords in your resume, you have 90% of higher chance to get your resume shortened list for the interview course. Right? So I think Augustine, the meeting is gonna get over soon. Can you post one more link?
Yeah, sure.
So these are major important things that you want to look at, right? So we have seen all the positive things, what to include, what not to include. What can be the major drawbacks in the resume? For example, if your resume is too wordy, if you are giving so much paragraphs, the HR won't be able to have time to sit and read all your contents, right? So make sure your resume is simple, neat, and clean, right? Make sure you write all the points in a bulletin, right? And second thing is, as you can see, whatever I'm displaying, the spelling and grammar, they have some spelling mistakes that might have caught your eyes. Why the spelling is wrong. Similarly, if you have any grammatical error or a spelling mistakes in your resume, it is going to be a major drawback, right? So make sure you don't have any spelling or grammatical errors in your resume, right? And avoid the using of contents repeatedly over again and again. If in the time management, as the keyword is going to, you are going to use, mention it at a particular place only once, not more than once, right? Avoid repeating the words over again and again, right? And don't make the resume too general, like common. Just have some of the key features in it which will make your resume to stand out of the crowd, right? So these are the things that I would remember you. First, a content should be relevant to your job description. Second, whatever the dates or whatever the data or whatever the stats you're going to give should be accurate, and your presentation should be clear, right? Always make sure you're going to include both the technical aspects and your impacts, or what are the percentage of increase. If you have increased the sales by 20%, mention 10 percentage. I have increased the sales in certain company. If you are using some certain technological for solving the problem, you can mention the technological stacks over there. Always use action verbs in the bulletin. Clear? So these are some of the tips that you can remember. And if you're going to send your resume via a mail, right? Always mention you have a clear email signatures, right? For your name, first name, and your last name. What is your job role? If you are an MBA student, mention candidate for an MBA student and mention your class, right? And mention your institution name and what is the sub major with your telephone number, your email ID, and again your LinkedIn. Don't think, okay, I'm mailing from my email. Why should I write my email ID again? Never do that, right? Follow these two email signature formats, which can be really helpful for you. And really, HR would appreciate if things are being in the clear way, right? It knows that you are an organized person and you can be organized in their works also, right? So this can be your email signatures, right? So parallelly, I have created some few templates over here because most of the time I find people worrying that they don't have templates to work on, right? So I have generated few templates for your resume over here, which I'll be sharing with you guys through Augustine. Augustine, I'll upload these in drives, right? Then I'll be giving you. So what I would suggest is, as you guys have gone through this session, like knowing what to do with the resume or what to know with the job description, take a job description from any LinkedIn profile. Like you can search jobs, right? You'll be getting n number of jobs, right? Train yourself to prepare a perfect resume. As I told, your resume should be prepared separately for each and every job role. Clear? For this particular job, prepare and see the resume, right? How you can validate your resume. First, just design your resume. First, discuss with your classmate, because as far as we know, we are always 100% right, but it is not true, right? The fault you may not find, your friend may find it. Okay, why those things has been not at there, or why the stats are not there, right? Always discuss with your classmates first, and I would strongly suggest you guys to form a club. As you guys are a management team, the placement club can be done, or can be formed, which can help you to review these resumes, right? Once your placement club has been reviewed, again, get back to your alumni, or if you know any of your relatives have been in the industry, ask them for an opinion, right? Then network through your contacts, for example, through LinkedIn or whatever it may be, right? Send your resume, try what is the response, right? Get a reply. Just, can you please evaluate my resume, right? It can be done, right? So I want you guys to start learning by just doing the work done, not just by listening, right? I will share these resumes resume template with Augustine. Augustine, you can give it to them, right? Have created both the CV template and the resume template. If you want to apply for any CV roles, or if you want to apply for any academic or research oriented jobs, you can choose CVs. CVs have the same section, same rules, and same regulation under each sections, but it have multiple sections. That's it, right? If you want to go with resume, I have different resume templates, both including pictures, or if a simple resume, or if you have any project roles. Each section has been subdivided. All you want to do is to add some certain contents into it and to practice it out, right? I hope this session have given you an overview or the basic idea of where and when to start with the resume preparation. So yeah, if you have any queries, you can